Hi everyone, and welcome back to more political chatter. So for this video, we will be going over the 2022 midterms as of May 21st, 2022. So this, I do these updates, pretty regularly, maybe once every 1.5 months, right? So we should definitely get into this prediction. So first off, Joe Biden is still unpopular, the president and the Democratic president, and of course that's going to hurt the Democratic Party. But just recently, and don't go typing to the comments right now like Roe v. Wade isn't going to affect it. But Roe v. Wade will be overturned very soon. There was the leak from Politico. And that will really encourage women to turn out a lot more than they wouldn't have. It's not going to change it dramatically, not like something like Watergate, where people went out and elected Democrats all over. But it definitely will have an impact whether you like it or not. So right now, the Democrats have 36 seats to the Republicans 29. So, and then the rest are up for grabs. There are 35 seats up for grabs in the 2022 midterm. So let's get into this prediction. So going to Democratic safe states, that's going to be safe states like Hawaii, California, Oregon. We'll get to Maryland, but New York, Connecticut, Vermont, they really are going to be all safe Democratic. I will put Maryland in that safe Democratic column. I really don't think that Larry Hogan will run for Senate. I think there was a possibility a little while ago, but it's getting so close to the midterms that there really isn't any shot of him actually. I'm sorry, I forgot one. Illinois, that will also be a safe Democratic state. And going to Washington, I think that this might just be a likely margin just because Patty Murray is not very popular. She's not that accepted in the Washington state independents or Republicans really, but still at the end of the day it won't really matter. Now going to safe Republican states, Utah, we'll get to Utah, but Idaho, North and South Dakota, they really will all be safe. Oklahoma and Oklahoma's special election will both be safe for the Republican Party. Kansas will be safe. Louisiana, Arkansas will be safe. Alabama will be. Kentucky will be. At the end of the day, Indiana really will be. In South Carolina, we have Tim Scott running. He's very popular, so that will have to be a safe margin. Going to Iowa, that will also be a safe win for the Republican Party because of the fact that they have Chuck Grassley here, and he is extremely, extremely popular. And then going down to Alaska, I think that this will be likely for Lisa Murkowski. I really see her pulling out a win, but Trump has endorsed a Trumpian Republican to run against Murkowski because Murkowski voted to impeach Trump in 2020. So he he has endorsed this person, and she will I forget her name, but she's likely will run a third party in the general election against Murkowski. So that leaves us with all the remotely competitive states. Going to Florida, that one really isn't very competitive. I would keep it in that likely column for Marco Rubio. I've never changed it, and I don't think I ever will. I think it will stay likely for Marco Rubio. He is very popular, and I really don't see it going anywhere. Going up to Ohio, I think that J.D. Vance will pull out a win in the state of Ohio. If you remember the primary, the Democrats nominated Tim Ryan and the Republicans nominated J.D. Vance. I really don't think that J.D. Vance is anything special compared to people like Mike DeWine, and Tim Ryan really does have a shot, in my opinion, just because he's not your typical Democrat, and he is making his case of that. He is not your typical Democrat. Democrats have lately been seen as the Eastern liberals, but Tim Ryan does not really represent that, and that really will help him in the state of Ohio, a blue-collar state, and I think that he will do very good in the state of Ohio, but I don't think that it won't be enough, saying that Trump was able to win it by 8 points and 9 points in 2016 and 2020. And then going to North Carolina, I think that this would be lean for the Republican Party. I really don't see it being that competitive. It did go to Trump twice, so I don't see much of a shot of a Democrat winning here, even with the Roe v. Wade being overturned. Now let's go to the state of Utah, and I will put this in a lean characterization for the Republican Party. So this state is very, very interesting because we have Mike Lee, the incumbent U.S. Senator, running against Evan McMullin, a conservative independent. And the Utah Democratic Party endorsed Evan McMullin, and he has had a huge boost because of that. But then again, he didn't do that well in the 2016 presidential election. If you combine Hillary's and his votes, he does get more than Trump. But then again, Trump wasn't from the state of Utah. It wasn't a local election. People are more willing to vote for the Republican Party if it's a local election, even if they're a Trumpian candidate. So I do see Mike Lee pulling out a very narrow win in the state of Utah, but I really think that Evan McMullin would come very close to victory. Going to Colorado, this would definitely be a likely state for the Democratic Party. Michael Bennet is really going to win big either way, with Roe v. Wade or with Biden unpopular, with Biden popular and Roe v. Wade not being overturned. Whatever it is, he's going to do well here because he is one of the best U.S. senators. That's my personal opinion. But, yeah, I really like him, and I think that a lot of people in Colorado do as well. So going to Missouri, this one's really interesting, and we don't know if Eric Greitens is going to win the nomination because there was a scandal of him, abusing his wife, domestic abuse over his wife. And if he is nominated, that will definitely be a huge blow to his campaign. There really isn't, he might win, but it's going to be extremely narrow. It's going to be a tilt or lean margin, even if he does. So the Republicans really need to nominate someone else. So this is an average, this is kind of like an average score if Greitens was nominated, or if a more conservative, traditional conservative, Republican was nominated. But I think that the Republicans will pull out a win here. Even if Eric Greitens is nominated, I really think that it will be enough for him to win. Going up to Wisconsin, I think that this would stay lean for Ron Johnson. I've kept this characterization. I don't see Mandela Barnes having that blue-collar appeal. Remember, I talked about Tim Ryan and how he had a blue-collar appeal and how he isn't seen as your typical Democrat. Well, Mandela Barnes really is seen as your typical Democrat. And in a state that went to Trump in 2016, that's not what they want at all. What they want is a new kind of Democrat. So I think that Ron Johnson will keep his lean win in the state of Wisconsin. All right, going over to New Hampshire, I think that this would stay lean for the Democratic Party. I've kept this characterization, and I really don't think that Roe v. Wade will affect this race all that much. I think that Maggie Hassan will hang on. I think that she is not that vulnerable as of right now because of the fact that the Republicans have not united behind one candidate, and that's a very big problem in many of these states. They're lucky in Wisconsin, they're lucky in North Carolina where they have incumbents, not North Carolina, but they are rallying around one candidate. So New Hampshire, I think, would stay lean for Maggie Hassan. Going over to the state of Nevada, this one really is tough. I think I will be comfortable with giving it to the Democratic Party because Hillary Clinton did well here in 2016, and that was such a red wave year. And all they need in Nevada is for Democrats to turn out. That is all you need in the state of Nevada. You just need Democrats to turn out, and really, that is it. Because Hillary Clinton was able to win by 2.4%, not even a tilt margin. She won by 2.4%. Joe Biden won it by 2.4%. They have Democratic senators and they have a Democratic governor. There are more Democrats in the state of Nevada than Republicans. That's all the Democrats need to do. And with Roe v. Wade being overturned, that is what they needed. And a lot of Democrats will turn out for the Democratic Party in November. Going to Pennsylvania, I will change my characterization from tilt Democratic to lean Democratic because the race for the Republican nomination for Senate still has not been called. This is a pretty insane race. This is going to be a recount either way, but there are about 9,000 votes left, and Dr. Oz is still up by 1,100. And really, McCormick has gained on him like 700 votes from since they started counting the mail-in ballots. But I really don't think that it'll be enough by the time that they count them in. I really don't think that it'll be enough. So the matchup is going to be Dr. Oz versus John Fetterman. And John Fetterman is similar to Tim Ryan and what the Democratic Party needs to win because he is not your typical Democrat. There's a famous picture of him wearing shorts running in a snowstorm. People like this kind of stuff. Blue-collar workers are going to want a, rough and ready type of guy. He is not like your classic Eastern liberal, but he's a progressive. But he isn't like radical like Bernie Sanders or AOC and doesn't want to show that. It's basically what happens. So I think that the Democrats will certainly pull out a win in the state of Pennsylvania, and they, with John Fetterman, I don't think that Dr. Oz is a good candidate at all. If McCormick would be nominated, that would be a different story. I would think that Fetterman would still pull out a win by a tilt margin, but regardless, I think that John Fetterman will win either way. So, going down to the state of Georgia, I think that the Republican Party will oust Raphael Warnock from the U.S. Senate. I think that Herschel Walker really will beat Raphael Warnock in the general election. Just because Warnock is not very popular. Like, Ossoff is popular. A lot of people in Georgia like John Ossoff, the other Democratic senator. But Raphael Warnock is a very different story. He is not very popular, and Herschel Walker will take a huge portion of the African-American vote away from Raphael Warnock. He's not going to get the majority, nowhere close to the African-American vote, but he will take some. So Georgia, I think, would go tilt Republican. So that gives the Republicans 50 seats, the Democrats 49. And if the Democrats win Arizona, then they win the majority, because with 50 seats, they have Harris, the president of the Senate, who is the tie-breaking vote. But if the Republicans win, then they have 51 seats, and they have control over the Senate. So, going to the state of Arizona, who do I think will win? Well, I think that Mark Kelly will win by a tilt margin. And I think this because Biden was able to carry this state in 2020. And, they have people like Adam Laxalt running against, for the Republican nomination, against Mark Kelly and And that is not who they need, because these are Trumpian conservatives, and still, the McCain remarks are still came out of Trump's mouth. I know they're not going to affect this election entirely, but a lot of people like Cindy McCain voted for Joe Biden in 2020 because they were unhappy with Trump's comments about John McCain. But Mark Kelly is popular. We have to remember that. And he's running a good campaign. He has a lot of ads, and he has the money. That's very important in this election. And he really, really, really has the money. So that puts the Republicans at 50 seats, the Democrats at 50 seats also. So in my projection, the Democrats keep their majority. I know you're going to hate me for this, but yeah. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.